Welcome to another Railroads online showcase video. Today we are back at the Aurora Falls iron ore mine again. I got myself some hoppers here, filled them up with iron ore, and we are going to do the delivery towards the smelter today. And yeah, there are a few more hoppers than I initially expected I would be able to get, but I had a fully loaded train at the sawmill. I brought that over to the freight depot and then used those stake cars in order to bring the supplies up to the mine here. So that gave me a lot of money. I even still have a bit left, and that's likely gonna help out later down the line. After all, there are still a few more cars that I need to buy in order to transport different other items. So we are going to see how that's gonna work out, but first up we need to do the delivery, and I think we should get started. So let's see, do we have enough fire in here? Yeah, need a bit more. So yeah, 6 hoppers, so 60 units of iron ore, that should be quite profitable. I think they go for 350 of $300 per car, something like that. Definitely quite a bit of money, so we should be looking pretty good at the end of this. Also, another little change that I have decided to put in terms of how I'm going to proceed with the series. I'm going to stick with my plan of getting meat produced in this playthrough and selling that to the freight depot. However, since I already established quite a few connections here and got a lot of stuff built up in order to get to that goal rather quickly, I'm going to stay on Aurora Falls and finish this before we go back to MIA. Actually, I already have a video recorded for that, but I'm going to be waiting with that until all of this stuff has been done. Shouldn't be too much longer. I actually have everything set up already, so we have a new connection here which we are already on. This is a 0.5% climb, I think. Yeah, this is definitely going up a bit. And it goes all the way past the lake and pond valley over here to the other side where we can find the smelter. Now with a fully built up station. Let's check the switches real quick. Yeah, that should be working out. I think I forgot last time to actually show you guys everything over here. We have a nice bridge set up that I definitely need to show you guys once we get this delivery done. There's a track going all the way to the logging camp, and also there's a track that's going around the entirety of the mountain where we find the coal mine, and also the yard for the meatpacking plant has been set up. Very simple. Gonna see it sooner or later. We're definitely gonna be visiting all of those places in the next few episodes. I might even be able to get a bit more top speed out of the engine here. But yeah, oops. I kinda clicked out of the game for a moment. Our journey in Aurora Falls is definitely getting to a close sooner than later. And what can I say? The map is looking pretty nice for the most part, apart from some of these really unnatural looking slopes in the back where the snow area is. But overall it's been a bit of a mixed bag. Some of those areas here are really nice to work with, like the rolling mountains. Very easy to get a good piece of track laid out that actually conforms to the terrain, whether you're going up, down, or whatever. But some of the other parts, like especially the rougher mountains over here, which we are going to see in a moment, it's just... it's not that much fun. You can of course always build whatever you want. There are ways to make about everything happen that you want to build in here, no matter how ridiculous. But really trying to make something that doesn't leave ugly looking bridges everywhere, it's kind of kind of a discipline on its own, and it's not always something that can easily be done or be done at all without having stupidly sharp corners. So with some of the stuff here, you're gonna see how the bridges get longer and everything, and there's just no real way around that. And especially the stuff that's going to be coming up after that turn, I think. Yeah, it gave me a bit of problem, and I, in the end, decided to just care a bit less about how everything looks here. I'm of course talking about that large iron bridge over there. So the thing that happened, well, steel bridge I guess. The thing that happened here is that I wanted to have a track going just to the side of a mountain here and just conform to the cliffside. However, there is of course the world border. We are pretty close to the edge of the map, can actually look past the mountains over here. And it didn't allow me to go much further to that. I couldn't have taken this part of the bridge and attached it to this hillside over here. That just was way too far. The world border is somewhere around here, and yeah, that meant either just tearing everything back down that I built here and going around the other side, which would have really been quite the detour, or in the end I decided to just have a longer bridge over here and at least have everything else work out. But this has definitely put a damper on my enjoyment of the entire process here. But in the end, you know the saying, don't care more about some product than the developer themselves. So at this point it was a really good idea to just care a little less and get some enjoyment out of it, but also just get it done and not fuss over it too much. Apart from my track laying woes here, one thing that I really noticed about the map is I've been trying to establish similar things to my Pine Valley map, because I think there are quite a few really nice challenges there when it comes to different operations, when it comes to some connections and all of that. That map is fun both in terms of working on it, but also then just running the trains, because there are a few really interesting things that you need to do there. And I just couldn't find proper ways to implement something similar on this map. So that's a bit of a shame, but also another reason why I'm looking forward to going back to the other map. For example, the iron ore delivery here, it's pretty straightforward, and even if I didn't make the direct connection, it wouldn't have been much more of a problem. It would just have been a longer track with a few more switches to flip. But on the other map, on my MIA playthrough, I'm going to do an on-camera iron ore delivery at some point, and just even the supply run to the iron ore mine, and you're going to see just how much of a different thing it is. You need to first up bring everything up to the gold mine there, then switch over to other engines and bring it down a path with, I think, 2 switchbacks, and then you can deliver it to the mine. And bringing it back up and over to the smelter means that first up you need to bring the hoppers up all the way and then go onto a different track and deliver it to the smelter from there. It's a whole different beast, and something that I find to be just a lot more fun. So let's stop the train real quick, unload everything. I hope this is close enough. I kinda tried squeezing it in, but in the end I decided that I also needed to have a connection between the tracks over here. Basically this is in case I was actually going to bring a helper engine over here. I would like to just have some stuff on the other side. Like maybe I would still add an engine shed to park the engines in, get a bit of a resupply area, and in order to make that all accessible for the helper engine and even just get the road engine out of here, I needed a connection like this, so this is how that all came to be. Let's hope that everything still lands on the platform. Okay. It's a close one, but it's working. Yeah, I think what could have helped otherwise would maybe be extending the platform with a bit of a ramp so that the iron ore can land on the ramp and then roll onto the platform. But thankfully that's not needed, it's just working as it is right here. So we're gonna unload this part as well. I could have maybe also flipped the switch and then, yeah, that might be a good idea. After all, I need to bring the hoppers up to the coal mine as well, so we might actually do that today. Let's just get a bit further backwards so that we can clear the switch and then go forward, unload the rest of the hoppers in the meantime. And then we are going to see some other stuff as well. I think I might need to quickly build a few sidings at the coal mine for that. I don't think the hoppers would have much space up there otherwise. So I might quickly do that as well, shouldn't take too long. But yeah, I think when it comes to the connections here, I would be more inclined to move the iron ore mine than the smelter. I kind of like the position of the smelter. But in the end, for the stuff that I would really like to do with all the industries here, I haven't found any good positions for that. Because it would kind of involve having some multiple flat areas for industry to be built on, close by, but with a decent amount of height difference between them. That's something that's given me quite a few good ideas and options to do stuff with here and there. But it's also something that's more present on the Pine Valley map than over here. Okay, this seems to be working. The one thing that I noticed that I could have maybe used for this kind of stuff, I mean, maybe this ledge would be worthwhile checking out for that. But also up above here. I'm not entirely sure if I can build over there, but this theoretically should already be a bit of a setup for that. So maybe there is another version where I could maybe use the ledge up here, the one further down there, and of course we already have something in the valley down below. But I don't know. So it's not like it's completely impossible to do the stuff that I was talking about, but it's also, yeah, it's something that I may have overlooked at the time. Also, with a map this large, you don't really want to bunch up too many industries, so there's quite a bit of back and forth when it comes to the different things to consider. But yeah, if I was to go back and overhaul the industry layout, maybe this would be something worth looking at. And yeah, we are now gonna go towards the coal mine with the hoppers. And maybe I get all the stuff with the cordwood set up after the episode. But since the bridge is coming up ahead, let's have a quick look at it. This started as a two-lane bridge, and it got upgraded to a third lane. After all, these two are actually the runaround for the cordwood, and this is the track that gets you to the other side where you can get the product from. So it starts with a bit of stone foundation, then has a short span of steel bridge, and then going into a truss bridge before repeating the same pattern on the other side. I figured out that if you go with your steel bridge span less than 8.5 meters, then you don't get the start of another section here, so you just have one set of pillars at every end, and that's looking pretty nice there, I think. And coming across the entire thing afterwards, we put everything back together. I just, in case I wanted to actually go with the full length of my usual cordwood train, I would have needed run around length, something like this. So this is why the entire thing is such ridiculously long and everything. And only afterwards, this is the point where I would say we finally have left the smelter yard. Now going apparently rather quick according to the sound of my engine here. I don't think we necessarily even need the engine. This is a 1% decline anyway, so decent grade should be giving us a good amount of speed. I hope we don't go too much further than 30 because that would be starting to get a bit dodgy. But this should be fine. And yeah, just following the side of this valley over here, down there is the track that we use from the logging camp to the freight depot and the sawmill further down the line. And we are just going to get closer and closer to it until we finally merge with it. One thing that I noticed is that I'm kinda missing a way to go directly to the freight depot from the smelter. It really only connects in one direction, so there isn't even a way that would allow us to turn around here. If I was to stay longer on this map, maybe there would have been another steeper track going further down a bit more directly. But as it is, I don't really need that. I don't plan on getting any deliveries to the freight depot anymore apart from the meat at the end. I mean, that really doesn't have any other way to go anyways. So let's check the track ahead if all of the switches are flipped correctly. We actually need to go around here and then basically around the mountain one time, and yeah, I'm likely gonna have to establish a few sidings over here. Okay, apparently we went a bit quicker than expected and we lost the tender. I don't know how that happened. This is the first time of me using this track here, so I don't know if something was in the way or if it just got a bit too fast, and yeah. Dodgy speeds lead to dodgy results, so I think this is pretty much a low point in the track right here with how the switches are set. So the hoppers should be staying there, and I'm just gonna clear a bit of way so that we can re-rail everything here. And yeah, we are missing a hopper. So gonna take care of that. I think I see something up ahead. Yeah, it may have just been a bit of yeah, high-speed shenanigans with this game. I don't see what else could have caused this. I mean, there is a turn here, but it's like I don't know how much of this was my mistake or how much of it was just the game being the game again. So let's bring this over. These are still rocking back and forth. That's kind of funny. Just gonna get the couplers in right away. Getting the last hopper. And then we should be able to just put everything back together. The thing about the physics in this game right now is that brakes still seem to have some really steep power curve when it comes to their top end. I noticed that with the climax recently. Basically had one that was just on its own. If the brakes were fully pulled, it couldn't pull through them. But if you go down to something like 80% or so, it would already be low enough that not only do you push through the brakes, also if you cut the power, you're just gonna be rolling for a while. But around like 85% or something, it just completely started to block up, and that just didn't really feel right. Also maybe I should just cut down the tree. It's pretty close to the track, and I mean it's been there for a while, but didn't really ever notice how close it was. Then again, I usually just drive through the area here. I don't just tend to stop here. But hey, it wouldn't be a Railroads Online video without a few derailments. Okay, we got the band back together. At least hopefully we're gonna see if it's gonna pull itself apart here. I tend already making a few weird lateral movements. Like that's usually not a good sign. But yeah, we still have like a whole lap around the mountain in front of us. Shouldn't be a problem for the engine. Mosca is decently strong. And then let's see how are my funds looking. 3.27k. I mean, the bulkheads are like 300 each, so maybe I get like 10 of them, maybe even just 8. Or maybe I go with 10. The smelter needs a lot of cordwood, so having a few more should be alright. Also afterwards I still need to do a final delivery with the stake cars, both for the rails and also just the beams. So there's gonna be still a bit more stuff that is gonna make me a bit more money. And yeah, this is gonna be the track that we are only gonna be using downwards. I don't know if we could actually use it upward. I mean, it would be a lot quicker, but I'm not sure if the Mosca can pull these hoppers up at 10%. I think that's a bit of a stretch. So let's just stick with the intended route. I went with a 2% grade up here. So this is gonna be a constant 2% up to the coal mine. Which thankfully is not at the very top there, because that would be insane. Are we already getting bogged down by that? Oh no, it's just, okay, I was picking up more speed because I was on a downhill, and now we are back to the speed that we are actually, yeah, powering up for. Okay, 39% might be a bit low. Let's go to above 50, then we should be able to pick up a bit more speed, hopefully. And yeah, to the other side we have the ironworks, we have little town that I built here with my triple water well setup over there. And we are just going to follow the side of the mountain, basically getting another good view around the area. I hope I cleared out all the trees over here. After all, it's another one that I'm using for the first time. The track that is here, I just built it, I went back up again trying to check everything for any trees and all of that, but especially the little ones, they are easy to miss. still have a full hitbox that will absolutely derail everything that comes too close to it. So those are very dangerous. Got the legs down there. I wonder if you can even see the smelter in the distance. It should be somewhere on there. I think it might be that. Not entirely sure. But yeah, some of these parts I just didn't care enough to try and make this look better. I could have maybe... I mean, this one is pretty sharp. Ideally I would have come over on this part and then just stuck to the side of a mountain. But at that point, when I was building this, I was definitely not going to do a lot of reworking the entire thing. But yeah, with how the entire bend turns out here, it's just very hard to make it look nice. I think the smelter is gonna be too far in that direction to even see it. We can see the sawmill from here. Freight depot should be coming up sometime soon down below. I think after this bend we might be able to see it. There's already a bit of track there. I think that's the end of one of the bridges. Yep, that's the bridge loading in. And the freight depot is just over here. And we can already have a first look at the coal mine from here. That's gonna be coming up a bit further. I just had a little shock because I thought that shadow was part of the tree that was going through the track here. Picking up the train again if it rolls down this side of a mountain is not something that I'm looking forward to right here, so would rather like to avoid that. But yeah, we are up here. And honestly, while it felt a bit ridiculous going around the entire mountain one time, and I would have maybe gone with a steeper grade instead. Just with how quickly that went now, it's okay. Not really much of a problem. Not even a problem at all, really. So, yeah, we are up here. And I think the last thing I want to do here is real quick just add a few more sidings. Just to have a bit of space for not only the hoppers but also the stakers that we are going to bring up here. Maybe in the next episode or maybe the one afterwards. It's gonna be short sidings though, because the plateau here is really not giving me too much to work with. But for something like a mine, I'm kinda okay with that. Can't always have a lot of space to work with. It's just gonna... sometimes you're gonna make do with what you get, and otherwise, if everything could be as large as you want, what would be the interest in that? Gonna be challenging in some ways. Okay, ideally I would like to just add the switch here to put that all together, and yeah, no, that's going into that area already, so that's no good. The question I'm trying to answer right now is, can I make a turn here? And the answer is not really. Okay, maybe I just need to keep it straight. Have a few sidings, put them back together, have a little runoff after that, and that should be the end of everything. See if I can still delete the stopper right here. that should be alright. The thing about a setup like this is that every other siding here is gonna become shorter. I usually like to, if I come in here from this direction and have further sidings going off to this direction, I would like to then have the switches connect back together in another way so that they form like a parallel to the switches over here. That leaves all of the tracks the same length. Otherwise, the last one here is gonna be barely usable for anything. Can maybe put a caboose up there. But you could also still use it as a bypass lane so that if all the sidings are filled up, you can at least do something there. Is 2 sidings gonna be enough here? I'm not entirely sure, but I'm not gonna stick around for long enough to optimize this. And yeah, I don't need another 2 sidings right there. That's not gonna be used anymore for anything. I mean, what I could do is try to have a runaround over here with sidings that are as long as I can make them. Then add a turntable to the end, so I can at least turn the engine around, or if I was to play longer on this playthrough, I would maybe include a helper engine. And then just have a lot of sidings that don't need to reconnect at the end. And then just push everything on there backwards. That should be working out. But as it is, yeah, I'm not gonna be doing much of that anyways. So I guess this has to do. Can we actually put the hoppers onto the second siding, the slightly shorter one? If that works out, then I'm happy with what we have here. Otherwise, I'm gonna be just making do with what I have, and it's not gonna be amazing, but it's gonna be alright. So yeah, just from the size restrictions of this area, even though it seems rather open and wide enough, this would be a good challenge for building an entire station layout here. Yeah, I think that's working out. Yeah, that's pretty much perfect. Gonna likely be clipping through here a little bit, but maybe I'll put it a bit further ahead, and that should be doing the trick then. Yeah, that's gonna be good enough here. Basically, all what I want from this is being able to just put the stake cars on this track, then disconnect the engine, and then push it back to also fill up the hoppers with the coal before pushing them off the side of a mountain. The annoying thing here is, for all of that to really work out and to make more sense, I would really need a helper engine up here. And also just bring the cars that I use to deliver the supplies with back down there. And then it would make sense to push the cars off the edge here. We are going to do that anyways because it's going to be fun. But right now, for a one-time thing, it doesn't make that much sense. But anyways, I guess that's going to be it from my end for this episode. Yeah, there's definitely ways to do this better, but who cares? So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time. Have a good one. Until then, bye bye.